Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel again for another video. So don't forget, before we jump into this one, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing, consider supporting, consider dropping a like. Those things really do help this channel. It's the best way you can help us grow, honestly. And for those who are subscribed, thank you very much. Let's jump straight into it. So we're taking a technical analysis that I've put together over the course of about 10 minutes. It didn't take me long to get this all together. I just needed some dates and to pretty much draw it out. And what I'm trying to do is visualize an image of just the repetitive things we keep doing and keep being led to believe are going to make changes. And it's all this trust me bro stuff. And a lot of people just see the closer picture, a lot of times not zooming out and not seeing how bad things actually are. And the simple fact that all of these people are just taking, and every time they take, they're the only ones dumping the market because they're the ones selling out vast amounts of coins each time. It's just not healthy, and it's a repetitive strategy that is used to keep this blockchain in a position where you can only pay to keep the lights on, and that continues, and you're led to believe as a holder that you do need to pay these teams and they do need to be funded, because if you don't, the chain will collapse. Well, let me enlighten you for a second. It wouldn't collapse, okay? That is the biggest misconception right now, is that if these developers are not paid, the system's just going to cease to work. That is not going to happen. It's that simple. Validators as a collective are the ones that keep the chain running. We're running on a system currently right now that's tip top. It works. Everything seems to work. And all we're waiting for is Astroport and other places like Terra to merge the PRs put forward. And then all of the swapping systems work again. The biggest issue is we don't have one single team. We don't have anybody that anybody can realistically trust a lot of the time. So the work has to be checked each and every time, and it takes up to 13 weeks like before. So what we're looking at here are some key points, and they're mostly funding points. And one of these ones is actually the gas fees being increased by 5x. That was a proposal back around this time in this area, but it didn't actually get implemented to around here. And I believe that has just not helped, because you're playing the Sheriff of Nottingham. You're just taxing the poor and making it worse for the everyday user that has decided to support this very small and very growing blockchain. And it's all, once again, it's all put on you as a community member. And I know everybody wants to see burns and everybody wants to see more funds go to the community pool, but it's not doing anything, right? The funding just simply pays for these developers to then say to you at the end, when there's not enough funding, that it's as simple as this. And I quote what has been mentioned, and there's a clip of this out there. I'll try to leave a link to it in the description or at the end of the video, but it was pretty much along the lines of this. The LUNC community has bills to pay, and they better go get jobs to pay those bills, i.e. there's not enough funding to fund the teams this month. So you get where I'm coming from, right? So anyway, this is when Tobias's L1 task force came into play. And as you can see, this is pointing at the exact day, right, that funding proposal went through. Boom, instantly huge dump. And this is always because of that mass sellout. This has been $110,000 a time. It's a substantial fee to be selling out. That does affect the market. It has to. And that's why we keep seeing these around these dates. So once again, they're looking at the L1 getting funding. Boom, goes down again. Hexagon getting funded again. Boom, goes down again. And, you know, over time, you know, sitting steady, no funding going anywhere. Oh, funding comes in. Boom, going down again. Oh, funding's come in again. Oh, gone down again. And it's a repetitive pattern, and it really does take for someone to draw it out, zoom out, and show you the bigger picture of actually what's going on. And just to give you a scale for reference, you can see this little blue squiggle down here, right? And there we go. So what we're actually looking at here is a 4-hour chart. So each candle represents 4 hours. So like I was saying, right, it's just been relentless, continuous, and we never get anything as a community, right? You never get anything substantial. We get nothing that attracts new users. We get nothing that attracts developers. We get nothing that attracts builders. we're just handing out money to parasites, and that's what we're going to continue to attract, is parasites. Because what the biggest issue is all of these different teams leave critical information out, right? That is absolute needed for you to make the correct decisions. For example, right, the funding dilemma. So if we look, the most recent was 4 months ago. 4 months ago, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're on the third month. Okay, funding proposals are coming up this month for the Quant team, for the L1, and for Hexagon, right? So everybody here knows it's a substantial amount. We need about 2.7 billion to get through the next quarter and us be left high and dry. That means liquidating all of the USTC as well. We can't even do that now. There's not that much funding, right? There's not enough funding to do all three teams, right? And when this was said to them, like I said, the comeback on this simply is the LUNC community has bills to pay and they must get jobs to go and pay those bills. And it's as simple as that, according to them, obviously. Now, myself, I don't believe this to be true. I believe we need a better system. We need a system that's not built on sand, i.e. a sand castle. I've said this so many times here. We need to introduce incentives that are going to make people want to come and trade again, want people to come and build again, want people to come validate again, because as time goes on, this keeps going down. I remember when we were almost full at one point at 127 validators, thinking, things are going really well. And then all of a sudden, we're now at 110. And it's the only things that are going to change all of this is rooting it all out at its core. Okay, if we keep chopping the weed off and then hoping for it to not grow back, it's going to keep growing back. If we deroot it and get rid of it, it's not coming back. And this comes in the form of a few different ways right now. I have suggested previously for a proposal I put up that there should be a halt on any future funding until a paid per milestone system is put into place. With the recent bug fix, crashing the whole blockchain and putting it into a broken state is just enough signs for me to know that the development team aren't doing what they should be doing. It's clear they're working on other chains. That much is obvious. All this is a paycheck to them. If this is just a paycheck to them, then we'll put it on a pay per mile system. No more trust me bros, no more bulk sellouts, no more of this junk. Every time they get money, they sell it straight out, and it shouldn't be like that. They should get paid weekly at the rate that it is. Why do I say this? Because it incentivizes them to start trying to actually make the price go up. And yes, of course, no individual can simply make the price go up, but they can damn right work towards it. They can build incentives. There's so much that could be done that has never been done in the past year and 4 months. And I'm just the same as all of you folks, right? I'm sick of it. And I think this is the biggest difference, that every one of these people, they have a very condescending attitude that puts them way above all of you. Okay, like they're holding their noses up. Oh, we're developers. We're developers. You're just a YouTuber and you're just part of the community. And we're developers. I'm going to get a t-shirt saying we're just developers. It's, for me, right, I put myself in the same situation as everybody else that's listening to this video, everybody else that is involved and invested in LUNC. For me to prosper would mean for you to prosper, would mean to the chain to prosper, for every one of us to prosper, not just one person, not just one group, everybody, right? I honestly believe that you need people that believe in this visionary step, this idea of getting to somewhere and things going, all of a sudden deciding to just go and skyrocket off again, doing a 13x because of the actions that have been performed as a community, as a collective, and as a validating base, making the right choices, the right decisions, and incorporating the correct things, developing systems, ushering in new ideas, and actually being a proper blockchain that can self-regulate. And this whole sort of blasé attitude of, oh, it's never going to change. It's never going to change, HCC. What are we going to do? And I get it. We're all in the same boat. But the difference is I'm here every day. Like I keep saying, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep pointing these things out. And I'm going to keep showing you, the community, how to better understand these situations that you keep getting forced into. Because at the end of this all, the point's going to get across of what's going on. And it's becoming so much more obvious now that all of these people are just out for themselves. They've always been out for themselves. And that goes for a lot of the validating base as well. The amount of people we've seen come and go, make false promises, the promise of a big burn, to turn out now, oh, they don't have a direct connection. And it's once again, it's one of those things that I warned against, that we're always going to have these things. We're always going to have these issues. But as a community, we can put a stop to this. I don't honestly want to update to any new updates that this development team are providing, for the specific fact that the last bug fix put us into a broken it's so early in the morning when I have to do this video. Into a broken chain state. It's not good for us as validators to see that. It's not good for us as validators to see them instantly propose an update and give us 7 days to make a decision. 7 days for a validator to go through, run tests and check to see if this update's going to work, if there's even support for it, if it goes wrong. There's nothing there. You've just got a skeleton crew at the helm that are just waiting to get that paycheck. And it's the same every single time. As we roll into the next paycheck, oh, upgrade to V10.5. Oh, upgrade to V1. It's horse. And it's just the same thing over and over again. If I wanted this, I'll go buy an early access game on Steam and get software updates from there and read dumb lists of silly things that nobody understands. No one that writes articles ever going to go in that and go, oh, look at this amazing upgrade. We just see the same bogus news article about, oh, this is going to revive this and this is where it's going to go to. I was like, oh my goodness. What we need is sustenance. As a community, we need to see results, and we've needed to see results for a long time. And we need to see the results in the form of actions, right? This dynamic smart tax, this is going to change a lot for the blockchain, right? Because it's going to ease the burden on everyone. It's going to ease the burden on projects. It's going to ease everybody's situation. And if the chain decides all of a sudden it wants to rocket off up to 13x again, then the dynamic tax system will catch up with that. It will counteract that. And it will be a Goldilocks system where it just works on an algorithm, right? And it goes up and down with the flow of the volume. And it's as simple as that. When you get systems like this in place, like I was saying, people like Fireblocks are going to jump in. They're going to say, hey, this is really good. This is what we want to see. Binance is going to be... I honestly think CZ would be so proud of us as a community if we got a dynamic tax system put in place, because there are out there. Okay, other chains do utilize them, and it's just one of the things I've always found with our development teams. It's always, there's nothing out there that exists like that, so I doubt that we could do it. You what? There's nothing out there that exists, so you don't think that you could do it? I don't want developers like that. I want developers that are going to think outside of the box and come up with a whole new way of doing things. And that's what it's all about. It's all about ushering in these new ideas, these new concepts, and these new routes. So like I was saying, right? The funding's coming this month. You're going to see another 3 proposals for each team. Well, 1 proposal for each team, but you get what I'm saying. The way this stops right now is simply not voting on those proposals. I get it if you want to support and you don't want to halt development because you believe that's what's going to happen, then I totally respect that and I totally understand it. But when you're moaning that things aren't changing, this is why, is because we keep rushing into everything. We don't want to halt development. We don't want to slow things down. We don't want to make the price go down. Oh, we've been saying this since last year in December, so we could just keep doing this and keep going down and keep stepping down like we keep doing, right? And keep ending back up at square one each time. Like I say to everyone, we are a ship without a sail. We get our sail up and it gets torn down by a storm of developers and their funding rounds. And we get nothing. And then we'll wait 3 months again until we get an opportunity to get to this point again. And I don't want to see that happen. The worst thing is these teams, their funding will fail. And then they'll go, all right, let's give it a week and we'll put it back up. And it's just... no one respects governance, and all of this has to stop. It has to stop. And the only people that can do this is you folks, by rallying together and going around and saying to these validators, we are not happy with this, because validators don't see the bigger picture and they definitely don't see the smaller things that go on. And when the community actually back people like myself and say, look, hey, this is what we actually want. We don't want to keep paying this. We want things streamlined, because ultimately what we need is 2 L1 developers at most, and we need about 5 L2 developers, right? That is what we need right now. That is what we need. And the less people we have, the more work we're going to get for our money. Because when you have a group of people, they're probably sat there in the evenings playing games together, drinking whatever they drink, you know, working on other blockchains and doing all these other things, laughing it away, earning a paycheck, whilst we're all left holding the bag. We're the ones that suffer. And guess who gets to prosper? Oh, the developers, right? That's because we're all holding on to this dream they keep selling us of things getting better. And it's got to a point now where I'm not trying to hide any of this. I'm not trying to cower or hide behind things and like hint at stuff. It's obvious what we need to do as a community. And I guess everybody just needs someone to come out and say it right now, that this has to stop. And it can stop at the core. It can stop with all of us rallying together and ensuring that they don't get funding until a pay per milestone system has been implemented, and we can actually remove this trust me bro aspect. We can get funding addressed, because guess what? We never get a second opinion. We never go to someone who's in the business and say to them, is this normal? Where would be the best place to look? Well, people who work in IT, do software development, stuff like that. We go, we speak to them, and we find out if we're getting our pants pulled down or if we're not getting our pants pulled down. And it's at that point, then we can make a decision. We can make a collective decision based on actual real world information, instead of just simply going, oh, well, let's hope they do better this time round. Maybe things have changed. You know, I really want everybody to come together. This is what coming together has resulted in. This is what thinking change is going to come has resulted in. The time for change is now, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you're drinking. Let me know what you're doing this weekend, folks. It's Friday today, a big day of the week. Yay! Catch you in the next one, folks.